All right, let's talk about something that's, frankly, a huge deal for how businesses grow. For way too long, the default has been to compete, to go it alone. But what if there's a better way? We're going to dive into a massive shift, a move from going solo to growing together. This is all about escaping what's called the solo marketing trap and grabbing what we call the alliance advantage.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down the problem, the solo marketing trap. Then, we'll get to the good stuff, the solution, alliance power, and we'll even peek inside the digital hub that makes it all work. We'll see how that hub creates a perpetual growth engine, discover the unfair advantage it gives you, and wrap it all up with a solid 30-day plan to get you going. Let's do this.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about the pain points. Why does it feel like the old way of marketing just isn't cutting it anymore for so many of us? Well, it's because it's an unwinnable game when you're trying to go it alone.
I mean, does this feel familiar to you? You're constantly running, you're making content, you're buying ads, you're chasing leads, but at the end of the day, you feel like you haven't actually moved forward. It's just this endless hamster wheel where you're putting in more and more effort for less and less return.
And look, this isn't just a feeling, it's a genuinely broken system. The solo marketing trap really boils down to three big problems. First, costs are always going up. You're paying more to get less. Second, there's so much wasted effort. Everyone's basically reinventing the same marketing wheel from scratch. And maybe the biggest one of all, there are no compounding effects. Nothing you do today really builds on what you did yesterday.
Okay, let's put some real numbers on this. Take indie authors as a perfect example. It's not crazy for them to spend between $500 and $2,000 a month on ads every single month. And that's just to stay visible. The really painful part? The return on that investment is almost always shrinking. Now let's put that spending next to this number. The average indie author makes less than 10 grand a year from their books. So think about that. When you're spending thousands just to maybe make thousands, you can see how this solo model is just completely unsustainable. It's an absolute recipe for burnout.
So you get it, the old way is broken. What's the fix? Well, this is where we get to the new model. It's a total paradigm shift, moving away from that lonely competition and into growing together. This is what we call alliance power.
So just look at the difference side by side. The old way, competing alone, sky-high costs, zero long-term buildup. But with alliance power, everything flips. Visibility becomes this shared resource, so when one partner wins, everybody gets a lift. You get these collective SEO boosts. You share tech to cut down on costs, and your audience gets to discover an entire ecosystem of value, not just your one thing.
You know, here's a good way to think about it. Solo marketing is like you, by yourself, trying to push a giant boulder up a hill. It's just exhausting. And the second you stop pushing, that thing rolls right back to the bottom. But the alliance model? That's like building a growth engine with a whole team. Every bit of effort adds to the momentum, and you build something that actually lasts.
Okay, so this whole alliance idea sounds pretty great in theory, but what does it actually, look like? How does it work? So let's go inside the digital hub. This is the blueprint for the entire collaborative ecosystem.
Probably the easiest way to get your head around the hub is the App Store analogy. Just think of your main hub as the iPhone. It's that trusted, solid platform that's always on. And then each of your partners has a booth inside that hub, which is kind of like an app. Each one adds a unique solution and new value, which makes the whole platform way more powerful for everybody.
Now, the hub itself has 5 core spaces, and we can even think of it like a theme park, right? You walk in through the lobby. From there, you can explore different themed virtual halls. Think healthcare land or education land. Inside those halls are the booths, which are like the rides and attractions where partners show off what they do. The auditorium is your main stage for big events, and the lounge, well, that's the VIP area for those really important conversations.
So let's zoom in on one of those partner booths for a second. This isn't just some static web page. A really good booth is a complete conversion engine. It has to have 4 key things: a really compelling offer, a quick demo video, some clear proof of ROI, and of course, a direct link to book a meeting.
Now here's where the real magic happens. These spaces aren't just sitting there by themselves. They're all connected to create a system of perpetual motion and growth. It's a self-sustaining flywheel.
So this is the most important part to get. The hub isn't just a digital building, it's a dynamic flywheel. Every single piece is designed to take the activity from one area and turn it into momentum for the next, creating this amazing cycle of continuous growth.
Here's exactly how that flywheel gets spinning. It all kicks off with partners driving referral traffic in. That traffic flows into big events in the auditorium, which grabs attention and gets you leads. Then the content from those events gets repurposed and put into the partner booths. From there, the really interested leads get moved to the lounge for coaching and high-touch consults, which turns them into customers. That leads to monetization. And finally, that revenue gets plowed right back in to attract even more partners, and the whole cycle starts over. But this time, it's even stronger.
Okay, that all sounds fantastic, but what are the actual, tangible results? Let's get into the hard ROI, what we're calling your unfair advantage, because honestly, these numbers are pretty incredible.
Let's start with the savings. By pooling resources, sharing tech, and centralizing your campaigns, Alliance members can save up to 80% on their digital marketing costs. I mean 80%. That is a total game changer right there.
But it's not just about saving money. This model unlocks some seriously explosive growth. Because of these network effects, where every new partner adds value to the whole system, your growth potential's 10 to 20 times what you could ever hope for with the solo approach.
It also makes you so much faster. That path from a big auditorium event to a one-on-one chat in the lounge, it just builds trust and speeds up decision-making like you wouldn't believe. The result is a sales cycle that's 25 to 45% shorter.
And here's a really hard metric for you. A direct before and after shows that activating one of these hubs leads to more than double, 2.1 times the number of demos booked in just 60 days compared to old-school solo outreach. I mean, the proof is right there in the results.
Okay, so how do you actually make this happen? The final piece of the puzzle is turning this really powerful idea into a simple, actionable plan. So here's what your first 30 days are going to look like.
This activation checklist breaks down into 5 key things to do in your first month. You're going to start by branding and building out your hub. Then, you'll onboard your first 3 to 5 key partners and publish your event calendar. From there, you launch your first coalition campaign together, and finally, you set your baseline goals. Aim for something like 1,000 visitors and 120 demos. It's a super clear path from a blueprint to a live hub that's already building momentum.
And that really brings us to the final question here. The evidence is overwhelming that the old way of doing marketing solo is just broken. It's too expensive, it's exhausting, and it just doesn't work long term. This new model of growing together offers a clear, proven, and powerful way forward. So the only question left is, are you ready to build it?